Happy Friday, everyone, and thanks so much for joining us on UpNorthLive Unscripted at 6:30. Take a deep breath. You made it to the weekend, not just any weekend, but a holiday weekend, hopefully a long weekend. I know some folks may have Monday off, and if you do or if you don't, either way, you're probably wondering, what's the weather going to be like this weekend? Today, it started off pretty darn nice. So let's bring in our meteorologist, Joe, from the Storm Team Weather Center. Joe, I know you mentioned we might see a little bit of rain at some points this weekend.
Yeah, and the thing is, Monday is Memorial Day, a lot of parades and ceremonies on Monday, and that's kind of when we may see some rain. It looks like 2 rounds, though, Maya, one tonight. So, if you like that pitter-patter of the rain on the rooftop tonight, you don't have to use some people use their apps for that.
Yeah, like a machine.
Doing that tonight. Some rain tonight, and then we should get a pretty nice day in tomorrow. And then Maya, on Memorial Day, the chance for some rain. I don't think a full, all day rain. We'll talk more about that coming up a little bit later.
Yep, we'll see you after our first break and you'll have the full forecast. But right now we're going to talk about all things happening this Memorial Day weekend. And, it's going to be a busy travel weekend. So AAA predicts that this holiday weekend will see the second highest travel number since 2000. I was going to say 2000 and something, but nope, just 2000. Around 44 million people are expected to travel 50 miles or more, whether that's by car, train, plane, and that is a 4% increase from last year. So we want to know, do you plan on traveling this Memorial Day weekend? That is our question of the day. And be sure to scan the QR code on your screen now to vote if you haven't yet. So right now, 82% of people say they are staying home. 13% say they're traveling within Michigan, and 5% say they are leaving the state. We were talking about this during our 6 o'clock show. It does seem like a lot of people do like to stay home in northern Michigan because this is a destination. This is where a lot of people travel to for holiday weekends or for long extended weekends. So if you already live up here, it does seem like it's kind of hard to want to leave on a weekend like this. I'm just curious how many people have voted on our polls. I'm going to go to our website. Looks like 61 people have voted right now. I'm going to vote. I'm staying home. So make that 62 people. I'm running the Bayshore Marathon. I'm not running the marathon. I'm running the 10K tomorrow. So I will be here in Traverse City. But just a heads up. So if you do plan on traveling, the Mackinac Bridge, this was a story that our Danny Zivian was working on today. He was actually at the bridge. So if you plan on traveling across the bridge, just a heads up, there's only 2 lanes of travel open right now because they are in the middle of a repaving project on the northbound lanes. And so there may be a little bit of traffic. I think it is past what MDOT is calling their peak travel hours, and that I believe they said was 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. So hopefully if you are traveling later tonight, you should be good, shouldn't run into too much traffic. But I know the state, some MDOT officials were a little upset that this project isn't done yet. It was supposed to be completed by yesterday, but is now not going to be done until June 7th, I believe. So just a heads up if you are traveling across the bridge. I'm going to pull up our question of the day one more time. And again, if you haven't voted yet, scan the QR code and leave a comment on if you are traveling, where you're going, or if you are just staying home. I pulled up our Facebook poll with this question, and we have about 17 comments. So let's just see what people are thinking for their holiday plans. Melissa says no, she's locking herself in her house. Too many people out there. Traffic is horrendous. Curtis says, yeah, he's traveling about 20 feet from his house to his garage to work on his cars and watch races. Sounds like a good holiday weekend. Toby says flying to Denver, then driving to Utah, Vegas, Grand Canyon, and $1 Million Highway. Busy weekend for Toby. That sounds like a lot of fun, though. Wow. Marianne says just to Frankfurt to hit the beach. Brian is going to a concert in St. Agnes and right back home. Have fun, Brian. What concert are you going to? If you happen to be watching, let us know. I'm curious. Cheryl's staying home. Chris says, nope, just to the party store and back. Bill says to the store and back. Beverly says, nope. So like I said, it does seem like a lot of people who live in northern Michigan do like to stay home during Memorial Day because it is, of course, the unofficial start to summer. But let's not forget the true meaning of Memorial Day. It's not a day of necessarily celebrations. It's more of a day of remembrance. And it's a day where a lot of cemeteries around northern Michigan, but really the entire country, tend to have a few more visitors. So a lot of people go there to honor the past, the service, and the sacrifice that so many people have made. And there's a cemetery in Leelanau County that itself was almost lost to the past. But after years of research and hard work, it was able to once again welcome visitors to a very special Memorial Day service. Here's Mark Chalette with that full story.
I became so emotional. And I was glad I was all alone because I just was walking through here saying, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. You know, because we hadn't honored, we hadn't done what people thought we would do when they buried their loved ones here.
Honoring the past is something Linda Dewey takes pretty seriously.
It brings us back to our roots, who we are, people that lived here.
But those who died and were buried here near Glen Arbor more than a century ago had been lost to time and to the woods. The small cemetery was overtaken by the forest, and that sparked Linda to get to work. Over the years, not only preserving what was visible, but also searching for the unseeable.
A year ago at this time, we were ecstatic because we had a ground-penetrating radar come in, and they found 75 unmarked graves.
Trees were cleared where the recently discovered graves were found, and blank headstones were placed just in time for this year's Memorial Day ceremony. A few years ago, it looked like this, only a few sites marked. Today,
we have 88 marked graves now, plus the probably a potter's field is probably what it was in back.
just in time to honor everyone who is forever here.
They used to call it Decoration Day. We'd go and decorate the graves, and back when I was a little girl, a long time ago. And we've gotten away from that.
But Linda Dewey's working hard to get us back to that, back to honoring the past, even if it's meant years of hard work punctuated by moments of respectful concern. The little cemetery, once lost to the woods, is finally back. And those who remain here are finally honored in the way she sees fit.
It's a unifying project. Everyone has been so gracious. It's moved so fast, so much support. And it's also unifying in a broader sense with our history and with the people whose DNA is right here in the ground. And that, to me, is a big portion of what this day is about.
There's a great story there by Mark Chalette, and there are a lot of ceremonies happening on Memorial Day around northern Michigan. For a full list of those, you can go to our website, UpNorthLive.com, and we have all of those listed. But another thing happening this Memorial Day weekend in Traverse City is the Bayshore Marathon. So thousands of runners are going to be heading to Traverse City to run either the 10K, the half marathon, the full marathon, or the kids marathon. And this is a 40-second Bayshore Marathon race. It's hosted by the Traverse City Track Club, and thanks to this race, the Bayshore, the nonprofit organization, is able to give back to the Grand Traverse area through running and health-related activities. And this morning, we caught up with the executive director of the Traverse City Track Club, Lindsay McLaughlin, and here's what she had to say.
Is an incredible way for us to, of course, help athletes accomplish some really incredible goals and dreams, but also to raise a lot of money to give back to the community, to do other amazing things, whether that's scholarships for kids who are passionate about running and pursuing higher education, or infrastructure projects.
So again, the Bayshore Marathon is tomorrow. It starts at 7:30, and I know a lot of people like to go to the race and cheer on their loved ones who are running, but if you can't make it out and you do want to watch your loved one cross the finish line, well, don't worry. Up North Live will be streaming the marathon, and all of the races will be at the finish line starting around 7:45 tomorrow. Our sports director, Harrison Beebe, will be there along with the former Traverse City Track Club coach, Lisa Taylor. They're going to be talking about live results. They'll also be interviewing runners, and it'll be a lot of fun. So be sure to join us on all of our streaming platforms, Facebook, YouTube, and X tomorrow morning starting at 7:45 a.m. for full coverage of the Bayshore Marathon. And we're actually going to check in with Harrison in a few minutes. I know he was at the finish line earlier for our 6 o'clock show, giving us a preview of the race. Now I believe he's heading to the packet pickup in Traverse City, where everyone goes to pick up their gear for the race. And if you have never gone to a packet pickup, it is a pretty big event. I went today for the first time to pick up my stuff, and I was expecting there just to be a table, you get your bib number, you get your t-shirt, and you walk out, but that is not the case for this race. So we will check in with Harrison in a couple of minutes and see what's going on down at the packet pickup at the Civic Center in Traverse City. So we are going to take a quick break. When we come back, Joe is going to have your full forecast for Memorial Day and beyond. And I'm just going to put up our question of the day again. So for those of you watching online, I'll keep this up during the commercial so you can scan the QR code and vote. We want to know if you plan on traveling this Memorial Day weekend. If so, how far? So let us know if you are staying home, if you're traveling within Michigan, or if you plan on leaving the state. Again, scanning that QR code. I sound like a broken record. You're probably annoyed by me saying that, but we do want to know what you're up to this weekend. So do that, and we'll check in with Joe right after this break. Stay with us. You're watching Up North Live Unscripted. Welcome back to Up North Live Unscripted at 6:30, and happy Friday, everyone. Again, we want to know if you plan on traveling this Memorial Day weekend, or if you're staying home, maybe you're traveling just within the state, or if you are leaving the state. But if you are staying home or maybe traveling somewhere else in northern Michigan, you may be wondering, what's that forecast going to be like? Well, I happen to know a guy who can give you some answers. Let's bring him in now. That is, of course, Joe Charlevoix. He is in our Storm Team Weather Center. So, Joe, we kind of touched on this a little earlier, but maybe a little bit of rain on Monday during Memorial Day, a little bit tonight, but the rest of the weekend should be decent.
Yeah, I would say tomorrow, starting mid-morning through, Sunday, late afternoon should be pretty good.
Nice.
And again, on Monday, on Memorial Day, there are a lot of somebody thought I said earlier in the show, crazy events this week. I did not. I said there's a lot of parades and ceremonies and events going on the weekend. Obviously, Memorial Day is an important holiday of remembrance. So Monday on those days, that's the day that we would actually, maybe see some rain. So we'll start with that. Let's take a look. We'll share the screen here and take a look at temperatures right now. Can you see them, Maya? Are they showing up on your end?
Yep, I can see them.
There they are.
A little bigger.
Big range. This is right now. So, if you're watching there on Mackinac Island, 58 degrees. And then at Frankfurt, it's 80 right now. So a little cooler over on the Lake Huron side of thing. That's because the wind is coming right off the lake there. We did have some storms earlier today out in Iowa, and I bring that up because they had some pretty good squall line thunderstorms cross through. And then by the time they got here, they really, really weakened across our area. And I'll show you, you can kind of see it. This is all that's left, just a couple little blips of rain that did pass through here. I'm going to shift, though, the radar over here, Maya. Look at, that's a lot of rain. From north of Green Bay there near Stevens Point, Wausau, Wisconsin, all the way down into the Rockford, Illinois area. This whole batch of rain is heading our way. So, a lot of this will be after midnight, but we are expecting a pretty wet night upcoming as we go through the night tonight. And here's what we're looking at for most of our Memorial Day weekend. We'll kind of run out future radar or stormcast. Showers this evening, and then there's that main batch of rain. But if you look at the clock, it's after midnight, 1, 2, 3 in the morning. So a wet night, certainly a thunderstorm can't be ruled out. We are not expecting any severe weather, though, thankfully. And then by 7, 8 o'clock, this heads out of here. So between 7 and 10, this will exit northern Michigan tomorrow morning with rapid clearing and sunshine in the wake of that. So there's tomorrow afternoon, a beautiful day for tomorrow. And then Sunday, we'll cloud back up. It'll take a while. And then here comes our next system later Sunday afternoon and evening. This is an area of low pressure that will bring some severe weather to Oklahoma tomorrow. By the time it gets here, we're expecting rain. So that's Sunday evening. You see northern Michigan there. And this area of low pressure will sit right on top of us on Memorial Day, right there. You can see that. So I don't expect that we're going to get an all-day rain out of this system, but there certainly will be off and on showers. It'll be pretty cloudy on Monday with highs in the low and mid 60s, and then a few lingering showers expected on Tuesday. So here's kind of just the recap on Memorial Day weekend. Showers ending early tomorrow, 60s and 70s. Sunday, rain late, upper 60s to upper 70s. And then Monday, on Memorial Day itself, that's when we do have that chance for some rain with temperatures primarily in the 60s. One more event, the Bayshore Marathon tomorrow. There it is. We're looking at clouds and showers in the mid 50s in the morning, and then sunshine for the afternoon. Temperatures for the runners, upper 50s, low 60s. And there you go. There's the extended forecast. After Memorial Day, once we get into early next week, a few scattered showers as our Monday system departs, and then high pressure builds in later in the week. So we're pretty confident in that later next week, some sunshine later Wednesday, Thursday through Friday, Maya. So that's kind of how things are shaping up. Couple rounds of rain, but most of Saturday, most of Sunday looking pretty dry.
And then at least we have some sunshine to look forward to next week.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Thank you so much, Joe. We are going to take one more break, but when we come back, we will check in with our sports director, Harrison Beebe, who is talking all things Bayshore Marathon. Stick with us. You're watching Up North Live Unscripted at 6:30. Welcome back, everyone. Well, a big event happening in Traverse City this weekend is the 42nd Bayshore Marathon. But before runners get to Traverse City Central Track to the finish or to the start line, well, yeah, the finish line, but first the starting line, they have to pick up their packets. And our sports director, Harrison Beebe, is live at the Traverse City Civic Center at the packet pickup. Harrison, what's going on down there? How's it looking?
Maya, I'm confused. Are you starting at the finish line tomorrow, or are you going to start at the start line?
I wish I could start at the finish line. That would be ideal for me.
You should just do it in reverse. You should start at the finish line and then end at the start. Nobody's ever done that before. You should be a first-time Bayshore reverse 10Ker.
Revolutionary.
Yeah, I mean, I talk about setting records. Yeah, I was wondering earlier today, because this is a 9-hour event for this packet pickup. I know you got your packet here earlier today. I was wondering how busy it would be here close to 7 o'clock. It's still pretty steady, and there's a lot of different booths and stations. Basically like a runner's, dream as far as not only your packet pickup, but you got merchandise, different companies that are affiliated with running, really giving you the scoop on, any little inside information, or just if you want to, pretend to be a runner or sign up to be an actual runner. This is kind of your little Comic-Con of sorts to get acquainted with the sport. And yeah, big crowd of people. We know, I did the math earlier because we'll be hosting the Bayshore finish line tomorrow morning on our social media platforms. There's about 7,400 runners taking part in this event. So of all 3 races, and that's not including the kids race that'll be at 1:30, but we'll be focused on the 10K, the half, and the full marathon tomorrow. So it'll be very busy. So it makes sense. This is a 9-hour packet pickup because that's a lot of people to get in and out. And, shout out to all the volunteers that help out with this event too, because I'm sure it's not easy and that takes a lot of people to put on an event like this. I think it's the biggest running event we have here in Northern Michigan, and definitely one of the biggest in the state. And for 42 years now, it's been the unofficial start of summer as part of Memorial Day weekend. So it's great to see it arrive again for this time of year and for this event.
Yeah, can you just kind of show us around, like, some of the different booths and stuff that are there?
So I tried to stay in the corner so I wouldn't be in people's way. We got kind of a section over here that's devoted to, your merchandise. Looks like some other companies. And then down at the end of the hall is where you pick up your bib and your information, everything you need to run the race. So it's scattered all over here. It was tough to pick a spot to be centrally located, but I kind of chose this spot in the corner. So while talking to you, I wouldn't be getting in people's way while they're
so
checking
considerate.
things out. Yeah.
So Harrison, what's going on after this? Once you leave, what are you covering tonight?
Tonight's pretty quiet. As you know, you and I both have an early morning wake-up call to be a part of this tomorrow, so I'll just try and take it easy tonight. But earlier today, I was at Turtle Creek Stadium for the Pittsburgh's Media Day because we are closing in on opening day to be on the road for them on Monday down in Battle Creek. Their home opener will be next Wednesday at home at Turtle Creek Stadium. So got to talk to some of the guys. Head coach Josh Reban is back for a 6th season. He's been there since the start. In 2019 with the Pittsburghs, he's back once again, and good to talk to Josh and get the feel for this team. They're bringing in new guys, but there's a culture there that's bought in, and the Northwoods League as a whole is well aware of the Pittsburghs. They've won 2 championships already, so they're kind of the franchise to look out for, the team to keep an eye on, and especially with this year, a bunch of pitchers are back from last year, so that'll be a good line of familiarity for them. And yeah, excited to start the new season of Northwoods League baseball come Monday on the road and Wednesday here in Northern Michigan.
And you'll have all of that and more tonight on Up North Live News at 11. So Harrison, thanks so much for joining us. I would say go pick up your packet, but I know you won't be running. You'll just be
Maya, that's why I host every year, so I have the excuse to not be running when people ask me
why. That's why you don't run.
Because I have enough people who know me from Traverse City who know I used to run a whole lot, and they're like, "Why don't you ever run the marathon?" Well, I got hosts. I got to host the Facebook show. So yeah, got in the way again of me running 26 miles. Shoot.
Yeah. All right, see you later, Harrison. We're going to take one more quick break here on Up North Live Unscripted. And when we come back, we'll take a look at our live results for our question of the day. Stay with us. Taking one last look at our question of the day. Do you plan to travel this Memorial Day weekend? If so, how far? 80% of people are staying home, 15% are traveling within Michigan, 5% are leaving the state. Well, if you are traveling, safe travels, everyone. If you are staying home, enjoy the holiday weekend. And we will see you back here tonight on Up North Live News at 11. But thanks so much for joining us on Up North Live Unscripted. Take care, everyone.